Hello, all, and welcome to the Movie Bears podcast. I'm Brad Harris, and on weeks where we can get together right now, it's a little busy with the holiday season and a move to Austin and all kinds of craziness. We get together to discuss movies, either current or classic. And I'm going to pause right here. Hey, babe, if you
Yeah.
could mute your microphone, that would be really great. I'm just going to back up. Also, I accidentally deleted the intro clip when I was trying to activate it. So um, I'm just going to back up and do a live intro. There we go. Okay. Hello, all. Welcome to the Movie Bears podcast. I'm Brad Harris, and on weeks where our schedules are aligning lately because it is a busy holiday season and we just moved to Austin, we get together to discuss movies, either current or classic, on this show. And this week we've got something that is definitely in the current column, but kind of comes from something very, very, very classic. We are discussing Wicked for Good, which, of course, is an adaptation of the second half of the stage musical, which is in of itself an adaptation of a novel, which spawned from The Wizard of Oz. And that movie has been around, I think, since the 30s, something like that. So very classic, but also very new. We're excited to chat about this. But before we get into our Wicked discussion, let me introduce you to my Wicked co-hosts. Jim Pugliafico is coming to you from a new location, very temporary in the house as we're getting set up here in Austin. But hey, babe, how are you?
Hey, everybody. I'm doing okay. I'm a little under the weather, so please forgive the stuffiness in my voice and nasaliness and mouth breathing and everything else that's going on. I'm just getting over a little bit of cold, but here we are, a new location, and this is kind of exciting. We're going to have to figure this out going forward, but who knows? We still have to do that all together around one table kind of podcast. We're going to get there, I think, but
Yeah.
it might take a few weeks. In the meantime, we're cobbling this thing together with bubble gum and paper clips.
We're doing our best. Some of our equipment is still in boxes, so we're making do with what we've got, and we still need to set a couple rooms up, including the office where we'll have a desk and all that good stuff. So, babe, thanks for making do with what we've got in your temporary locale, and of course, hope you feel better soon. Will Lindis is here as well. And Will, we haven't had a chance to figure out the setup for all in person yet. And I'm researching. We may need to buy a little bit of equipment to make it work. We'll figure it out. But Will, you're like 20 minutes away now instead of, a 8-hour plane ride ordeal with 2 connections or something. How the hell are you? And it's good to be in the same city as you.
Yeah, it's great for us to all be in the same city. We always say here that like one of the fun things about this show is that even if we're like 1,000 miles away, we can get together and talk movies. Well, we can't say that anymore because now we're like 5 miles away. We're just down the street. But the good news is we can still get together virtually in person to talk about films, and not just when there's a festival, not just during a big event, but just sort of during the everyday in between weeks as well. So I'm really glad you guys are here. I know we've had a couple of weeks off as you guys have gotten situated or are working on getting situated, and that's a process. It's a lot to move across the country, but either way, I'm really excited to have you all here, to have you as members of the Austin Bear community, the Austin film community, and my neck of the woods. So welcome, and gosh, here's to many more hangouts and many more movies together.
Oh man, absolutely will. Can't wait to see some films with you and Scott and get more plugged into the community. We actually went to our first Lone Star Bears event over the weekend, which was the beer bust at the Austin Beer Works. And I think we met like, I don't know, 14, 15 guys. And we saw some old friends. We made some new ones. It just seems like a super cool community. So can't wait to get more deeply immersed.
I saw
Yeah.
some of the pictures from that. I mean, Austin Beer Works is like right down the street from me, like very close to me. And
Right.
I think I don't know if you had met them before, but like Don and Gus and just like
Mhm.
some people that I've known here for a decade. Just part of the fabric here, and it's kind of cool, like seeing just like both what is it, like my peanut butter and my chocolate kind of meeting together in the same space.
Well, it was so cool because several of them were like, "Oh my gosh, you know Will from the podcast. We know Will. Will's amazing. We love Will." And we're like, "We love Will too." So it's like the We Love Will Club beer
Oh,
bust. It was great. But yeah, so Will, fun story. I when we were driving up to that place, I realized that was the brewery that you had directed me to while I was here that was closed when I got there. I was like, why does this look so familiar? So that was a cool little happenstance. Somebody on Facebook just messaged me and said, "Why do you look so weird?" Okay, let me tell you. Because we are shuffling equipment and we're operating at half mast with our equipment here. I actually joined the podcast for the first time. I've never done it before with my Apple Vision Pro. So you're actually seeing my digital persona, my telepresence right now, and they've gotten way better than they used to be. But like, there's still something a little uncanny valley, a little funky. Maybe in a couple more years it'll be better. But like, my teeth look weird, and like, I can't figure out where to look at the screen for like eye contact. And anyway, we're fuck it, we're going with it. We're doing what we can. But if I look a little weird this time, and my hands are transparent and skinny, which is weird because I'm a big dude. But here's my little raccoon hands. Uh,
you look like that, like when you had your hands up like that. Now, if you kind of turned them around and looked at them like bewildered, you look like someone who's like fading away into a ghost in real time in a movie.
oh, what a world! What a world! What a world!
uh,
Oh, that's funny. All right. Well, we have so much to discuss. We're going to be talking Wicked for good. We've also got some plugs coming your way that we will, of course, deliver to you at the end of the show. Those are things we love, we want to put on your radar. So I know you're excited for the Wicked discussion. We've got some folks already on with us who are probably like, for the love of God, would you please talk about Wicked already? But hang around for plugs at the end. You don't want to miss those. But guys, I mean, everybody knows what Wicked is. If they went to see part 2, they probably saw part 1. Do we need to have like a pre-spoiler section, or you think we're good to just start the convo and dive in?
I think we can have I mean, look, we're going to be spoiling the heck out of the first movie in the pre-spoiler section anyway. I think as long as let's lampshade it a little bit. Hey, we're going to be diving into the second part of this film, talking about Wicked for good, which means that we're going to talk about some of the spoilers to it. You've probably seen it if you're listening this far ahead, but if not, just come back after you've had a chance to see the film. But yeah, I mean, there's such a weird like razor's edge that we're going to have to talk about to not spoil the first one or the second one and still be able to talk about this one spoiler free. So yeah, I say we pull off the Band-Aid.
Cool. And Jim, I see you nodding along as well. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So listeners, just be advised, we're going to kick this discussion off in a second, but we're going to be doing spoilers for this one right off the bat. So if you haven't yet seen Wicked for Good, just keep that in mind and act accordingly. But we're going to insert the trailer for you, or rather Jim will, because he's amazing. And Jim, we love you for doing our editing and dropping those things into the audio show for folks. So use that time to step away if you need to. But here we go. Our discussion of Wicked for good. All right. We are jumping into our discussion of Wicked for good. As Will mentioned before the jump, if you're listening to this episode, it's probably because you saw the first Wicked movie and you're here to hear thoughts and maybe engage in the discussion we hope you do in the live chat around the second movie, Wicked for Good. I think it's no secret I'm a huge, huge Wicked fan. Of the three of us, I don't know that I would say I'm the biggest. Maybe I am. But Jim actually introduced me to Wicked originally. He took me to the stage play in our first year together. It was magical. It was so sweet.
That's right, 2009. And you know what? I found tickets for that show when I was packing up my nightstand in the bedroom. Like, I keep a lot of ticket stubs, that I go to and
Uh-huh.
that we go to, and I definitely found that. And the first time we
Oh,
saw it was at Gamage,
that's right.
which is
That's
up
right.
in Tempe near
Yeah.
the dreaded Sun Devils. Yeah.
How cool that you found those. I know just the thing to put them on. So we'll have to display those. But Jim, thank you for introducing me to Wicked all the way back in 2009. It's 2025. Now we've got 2 movies. Let's jump in and talk about it. As we mentioned before the jump, we're going whole hog in with spoilers. So I want to kick the conversation off just by asking y'all a question. Yes, y'all. We live in Texas now. I gotta say, y'all. So this movie, as we said, is an adaptation of the second part of the stage play, the second act. You've come back from intermission. You've gotten your M&M peanuts. You went out and had your smoke. You went to the bathroom. Whatever. You're back. A lot of people say that the second act of the stage play, while good, is weaker than the first act, musically and with plot events. And this movie is very well known right now for adding in some new things. The composer and lyricist created a couple new songs for this movie. Some new plot things happen. Are you guys on board with the changes that they made for this movie and the new material? Did it land for you? Were you maybe not as impressed? What are your general thoughts?
I mean, yeah, I'm totally on board with, what they did in this second part. I guess they might have tried to zhuzh it up a little bit, but I don't know if it was like 100%. I don't want to say it wasn't successful, because I did enjoy it quite a bit. I don't know if I enjoyed it as much as the first movie. I just don't know if they achieved what they were going for fully. Still a good movie, still a great story. So far, I hear there's maybe sequels coming. I don't know, but uh, from what we've seen in these 2 parts, I mean, it's still great, right? It's still great to see it on the screen. Uh, for anybody who hasn't gotten out to see it on stage, I think this is, the next best thing.
Yeah, I mean, when you think back to the Broadway musical, part of the reason the second half is the weaker half is the first half is incredibly tightly plotted and with the songs spaced out in such a way that there's like, it's all bangers, right? The second half, as with a lot of Broadway musicals, is a shorter act. Usually you have something with these acts where it'll be something like, and I'm ballparking here, but like where the first act will be like an hour and a half and the second act will be like an hour or something like that.
Hmm.
That very similar-ish to what happened in Wicked. So when you make a 2+2.5 hour movie out of the first half, you don't have to do a lot of zhuzhing to make that first half feel epic, and you have a great ending point with Defying Gravity. In the second half, you have to do a lot more taffy pulling and stretching to make it fit the same runtime as the first film, which means you have to add a few extra things. And so for me, I think they made some smart decisions with what they added. At the end of the day, though, it was still stretched. So that means that a lot of the stuff that got added did feel a little fluff, did feel a little filler, and didn't necessarily move the story along the same way that all of the moments in the first one did. This was especially profound to me because what we did when we went and saw it, our Alamo Draft House was doing it was like at noon that day or like 1 o'clock. They played the first Wicked. It was, you bought one ticket, but it was to both movies.
Oh,
And
nice.
so you watched the first one. They did a 15-minute intermission. and then the second one played right out of there. So you didn't change seats, you didn't change tabs. So we just watched them back to back. And so it did become really pronounced watching that, just like how the first one was, and how, I mean, there's some parts in the second one. The Glinda's Bubble song is cute, but it didn't really like give me anything new, whereas all the songs in the first half gave me something new. So I get why they added what they added. They needed to make it a full-length film. You can't just put an hour of content out there and say, well, that's the second half, y'all. But as a result of that, yeah, a few of the weaknesses of the second act did, I think, shine through.
Yeah, I think I agree with you guys to some degree. The No Place Like Home song, which takes place like in the forest scene between Elphaba and the animals, it did not land for me. It just felt like unnecessarily like lengthening. The scene of her like wrecking the Oz people, like, you know, whipping the animals to build the road, that was cool to see her like doing her thing and protecting the animals and being divisive, but the song itself fell pretty flat. I will say though that the Girl in the Bubble song actually really worked for me. One of my complaints about the Glinda character in the stage production is she goes awfully fast from being like press secretary, oh, everything's wonderful, Fiero, to like, oh, Elfie, it's okay, I love you for good. And I felt like the Girl in the Bubble transition, as well as including her, probably because Jeff Goldblum doesn't have the best singing voice sometimes, but including her in that song and that sequence where Elfie comes back and they see the wizard, it kind of grounds it a little bit, and it's almost like watching that bubble burst for Glinda explains why she gets the gumption and the chutzpah, or whatever you want to call it, right? To take the wizard down. Spoilers, we're in spoilers. You know what I mean? And send Madame Morrible packing and like take over Oz, basically. So I thought that was good connective tissue, and I love the song. But there's some other stuff that just drags on. It doesn't, Jim, to your point, it doesn't have that same like quick run from one thing to another pacing. And I know with filmmaking, sometimes you want it to be a slow burn and like you want to give room for things to breathe. But with a musical, especially, I feel like sometimes that works to its detriment.
I mean, it's possible though that we knew the big plot points that were coming in this second movie. So maybe our expectations got the best of us while we were watching. Like, hey, all right, they're putting this thing in. You know, I know this part coming up, the For Good stuff is coming up, and the clash with Dorothy and all that stuff is coming up. But now they're putting in this stuff in. I wish they didn't do that. You know, I wish we could just get to the stuff we know and the good stuff. So maybe our expectation was a little bit, you know, I wonder for myself, like if my expectation was a little too high in wanting to get to those good parts that I knew were coming.
You know, I think there could be some of that, but I also think that, you know, overall, a lot of the additional stuff, and there are obvious exceptions, right? But I think, you know, on the average, a lot of the new pieces that they added didn't necessarily add as much as they lengthened. And there are areas that I think you could add that we didn't get a chance to see here. So, for example, we got to see a little bit more of, you know, Bach, who is an important part of the first half, right? You know, he is all over the storyline, all over kind of like some of the motivations. And in the second part, and I think one of the issues with the Broadway musical as well is you see the transition with him and Nessa and kind of all the stuff that happens. But once we get to the March of the Witch Hunters song, and he's basically like, I'm a Tin Man and I'm going to go kill Elphaba. That's really the end of what we get from that character. And we got the same thing here. You know, basically when he gets ready to march off to war, we get no more resolution to that character, no more really experiences with that character. And if you're going to add something new here, you could add something with Bach. And I don't necessarily know what that is. Not my job to come up with that. But they could have taken that storyline and extended it. They could have maybe patched up. I think we got to see some of this, and I would have loved more of it. If the theme of this film is propaganda, and that's the big theme of it, propaganda being used for evil, and even kind of the final big propaganda at the end being used for good, with the death of Elphaba and kind of like using that to prop up a better version of the wizard in Galinda. I wanted to see more of the propaganda being used through the film as a way to counter Elphaba's activism. We got to see some of that when she attacked the guards and it was used, or when she skywrote the one thing and then that got turned by Madame Morble, which was then used to sort of foreshadow that she could do weather stuff. I thought that was very smart. I thought that was a smart addition. I think we could have used more of that to really flesh out the kind of the wizard versus Elphaba's conflict and motivations.
Yeah, I think you make some good points, both of y'all. But we got the movie that we got, and I think it's creative choices at the end of the day. Some work, personally, maybe some don't. But overall, what did you guys think about the film? Did you walk out of this one loving it? Did it just kind of, it was a thing? Did it disappoint you? How did it round out?
For me, I like I said earlier, I really, really liked it. Like I said, I don't think it's as strong as the first movie, but that's okay. I think to taken together, I think it's wonderful. I mean, someday maybe Brad will sit down and do kind of what Will got to do and watch the first one and the second one together. We've only seen the second one for good one time. I think by the time we reviewed the first movie, you and I had seen it at least twice, maybe 3 times, right?
Yeah.
So in all the moving craziness, haven't got to see many movies, but this is the exception. As a matter of fact, I was thinking today, well, like I'm a little ashamed of myself or ourselves that we've been here in Austin for a little bit just over a week now. We haven't even had a sniff at going to a movie here yet. And so it's something we need to do. It's high on our priority list. So maybe this week. But got to get in. We got to get those Alamo passes going and get down there and get our butts in seats for a movie and, introduce our friend Kevin to the Alamo Draft House too.
We can chat offline here on this, but this is one of those rare weekends where Scott is off both Saturday and Sunday. So maybe if y'all are around, we're around, we could look and see if something lines up. And you all have a Draft House. I'm jealous for everyone here. I'm maybe 25 minutes to my nearest Alamo. And I've got 125 minutes this way, 125 minutes that way, and 1 and 2 that are like 30 minutes this way and that way. But that's kind of like the directions I've got. Y'all have one that's 10 minutes from your house.
We do.
I realized that kind of after hanging the other night.
I had to go out and run errands yesterday. And one of the things I did is I know there's an Alamo up here somewhere. Alamo Lakeline is up here and next to like an amazing HEB, and I got to go find it. I didn't see it the first time I was up there, but I definitely found it, and it looks pretty amazing.
It's all of them have a themed lobby, and that one's Planet of the Apes themed.
Oh, cool.
So,
that's awesome.
So, Brad, to your question, I really liked this movie. I didn't love it. And I think there's some things that hold it back. And unfortunately, it's the same things that hold back the second act of the musical, right? Which I really, really like, but it is the weakest part. I would watch this again. I'll probably end up watching this again. But do I also foresee a future where if I have 2-ish hours to put on a musical and I have to choose between the first half and the second half, I'm probably in most cases almost always going to choose the first half. I think the first movie just gives me more kind of start to finish closure in a way that this one doesn't. Good. It's good. I enjoyed it. songs. One thing we didn't talk about is some of these songs, like "For Good" and "As Long as You're Mine," which I think are both presented remarkably well. I think the one that was I think the one that killed it the most for me was "No Good Deed." And I was reading a little something on that. Apparently, she was supposed to walk around a lot more in that set. And there was one take where a combination of them doing multiple takes and, just her trying something different. She's just like, I'm not going to move on this one. I'm just going to stay put, And they ended up using that take where she's more situated and grounded. And they do this sequence where, as she's doing the Nessa, Dr. Dilliman, Piero, that part, and like it actually cuts through the different scenes from the first film of her interacting with those. I thought that was remarkably well done. So they nailed the set pieces. And ultimately, I think to walk away liking this movie, you have to nail the set pieces. I think to walk away like loving this film, you have to improve upon some of the connective tissue stuff. And I think in some cases they did, and maybe some cases they didn't. But hey, I'll take I really liked it in a movie any day of the week.
Yeah, for sure. I really liked this a lot too. I guess I loved it. I 5-starred it. It was really good. But I maybe loved it as third as much as I loved the first movie. But I do have to give this movie mad props for fixing something with the stage play music. The No Good Deed Goes Unpunished song. I like that song from the stage play. I don't love that song. It's very like 90s dated. Some of the music has like that like 90s thing like Rank used a lot of in some of their like slower songs. And I don't like it there either. It sounds 90s and dated. But they did such a good job with like rearranging the music for this one and making it a fucking power ballad. Is really what it is, and it becomes. And that scene where she's fucking like flying up and fires all around and the monkeys are behind her and she's like, I'm wicked through and through. I got chills during that song. And that's never happened to me in the stage play. Jim, to your point, sort of that like don't bore us, get to the chorus. That song for me in the stage play, because we've seen it, I don't know, 5 or 6 times now. It's always like, all right, let's get through Good Deed Goes Unpunished, because For Good is coming right after. And here, I find myself going back and listening to that on the soundtrack so much more. So that was great.
We did not talk though about the true star of this movie. I mean,
Fiero's hairy chest.
No, although definitely supporting actor there. And I'm not even talking about Cynthia Erivo or Ariana Grande, although they both do a stellar job here. No, Elphaba sex shawl. That giant gray shawl she wears right before she and Fiera go downtown to Green Pound Town. Is epic. I think everyone should own a sex shawl that they keep in their house just for intimate moments with Captain of the Guards in the Woods.
Listen, I was browsing Kohl's website looking for one. They don't make them in my size, but they're out there. They're out there. Get your sex shawl.
I mean, when I was growing up, I watched the Wizard of Oz movie, the original film, many times, and I never ever thought that the Wicked Witch of the West would end up banging the Scarecrow. I just never thought that would happen.
You've obviously not been on as many Rule 34
I was going to say, been on 4chan much?
I think the other fun thing that I've really enjoyed about this movie has been there's some quirks in the story, and not flaws, but there are quirks in some certain things that have really exploded on things like TikTok. One of my absolute favorite ones that I never really thought of before until I started seeing people kind of play act this, and I've seen a few of them do it. They'll be the person on TikTok will be dressed up as like Dorothy. And she'll have like a background of like being in a basement, and you'll hear For Good playing, and she'll just be like, Are, is that Glinda up there? Is she singing a lesbian power ballad with my captor? And it is funny. It's just like, yeah, Dorothy would have been down there hearing For Good, right before all that, which is really funny. The other thing that I thought has been just an absolute delight, and it's cringy as hell, but like in a adorable kind of like, mom joke kind of way, has been watching Michelle Yeoh on the tour for this. She's done this thing like 5 or 6 times in interviews, that she's discovered that I feel like she thinks this is like the best thing, that like no one's ever thought of this before. And again, it's weird and cringy, but it's just the amount of confidence she does. She goes, Madam or Morrible, flip it around, Wicked Witch. She does that in all of her interviews, like that, like Madame Morrible is actually the Wicked Witch. Flip it around, Wicked Witch. Watch, there's compilation videos of them, and again, it's cringy, but like in an adorable way.
That's awesome. I'm gonna have to seek that out for sure. Will, you were talking about like Dorothy, sort of being like 5 feet under the hatch, right? Well, For Good is playing out. That was something I always thought about in the stage play too. I'm like, Dorothy is literally down there right now, listening to them sing to each other, and she must be able to hear the words, and she's still gonna kill the Wicked Witch. Like, I don't know. I guess her motivation to go home was really strong. But one thing that I thought was really cool, though, about how this movie wrapped and its impact on the audience. So we're sitting there. We saw this in Tucson right before we left. It was our last movie in Tucson, before the move. And when the Scarecrow comes up and knocks on the door, I just heard like all the giggly girls up in the back rows that had been like talking and loving the movie. They just went silent. And then Elphaba comes out of the hatch, and they just audibly gasped, and they were so happy, but they were very confused. They were like, what? Huh? And then all of a sudden it's revealed that the Scarecrow is actually Fiyero. And one girl literally goes, I kid you not, they Darth Vader'd us, with the whole like Vader's Luke's dad thing. But they were so happy about it. And when we came out of the movie at the end, like they were coming out too, and they were just like, oh my God, like this is totally like the best like fake out thing ever. And they're like, but does Glinda know that Elphaba's alive? Oh my God, like we have to know more. And so, Jim, to your point, you mentioned earlier, there's a discussion that there might be more coming. Apparently sequels are potentially in development. So let me ask, if like those girls, you want to see more of Glinda and Elphaba and whatever they have going on, are those movies that you would see? Is that something that interests you?
I know nothing beyond the book, the original book. Well, the book Wicked. I know nothing beyond that. But I thought I heard somebody say, oh yeah, there's been books out that are built on this world or something. And I didn't know that existed. So I assume they're going to mine that content for these movies.
There have been like 3 or 4 books, but the thing is that even if you mine the content at this point, it becomes basically brand new territory. And the reason I say that is they converted a lot of shit from Wicked to make it the musical. For example, Fiyero is not the Scarecrow in the books. At one point, she's like, kind of towards the end of Wicked, she's like almost going mad, and there's a moment where she says, and what if he was? No, and it's proven that he's not. That it was just, but it's sort of like a passing line that the musical people are just like, yeah, but what if he was? Fuck it, let's go with it. So what that means is it doesn't matter kind of what happened in those other books. There's also, she has a kid with this nobleman who is a more major part of the book, and then there's this her third sibling is a younger brother who becomes like the antagonist of the rest of the series. None of that shit's been set up. So whatever they do from here on out, I think you can kind of throw the books out the window and just
Yeah.
say, they're going to explore the world of the musical, not the world of the books. Whether that means it's the outer lands of Oz, whether it's more of like a prequel of what happened when the wizard first came. One of the books is about the Cowardly Lion, so maybe you do something about that. I don't know. But I don't know if I need more. That's going to be the other part of it.
Yeah.
Sometimes with a story, it needs to end where it ends, and I think the adaptation of Wicked the musical, I feel has wrapped.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Do, and so anything else, I think. What's that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say, like you mentioned, the Cowardly Lion. He's the one character. I think Fiyero, and Scarecrow and Bach, the Tin Man. I think they've got, at least they got their stories right in the two movies. The Cowardly Lion is in there, but I don't think it's as strong. Not nearly as strong as those other two characters. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's because he's more like an animal, but I think I would love to see them explore that world of like the repressed animals, like the animal society. I would love to see something like that done.
Wickedtopia.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
that's one. They also set up Elphaba and Fiero's appearance in Dune 3, so we can look forward to that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you could easily. I don't want them to go the route that I'm about to mention, but one thing that that you can always get like audiences, especially of a certain age, excited about is anything that's sort of like back in a school setting type thing. So you could always do a story of, well, what does Shiz look like, 15 years after this, once Glinda's like, kind of like reformed some of the more evil shit and maybe learned her own sorcery. So maybe there are actually some kids at the school learning real magic, I don't want them to go that route just because it's been done, but it's easily mineable. Someone at least has in some pitch meeting has at least put that on the table as an option.
Grease kind of style, back at Grease as Shiz.
Grease as Shiz, or even like, there's the whole Wizarding World stuff. You can do
that's what I was thinking.
A version of like that, like that's very popular, and like, not just that, but just like any of those like YA style things, which has captured, that has captured like an audience with these films who maybe even didn't know much of the musical, but kind of I've glommed onto this as sort of like a YA type story with this being their first exposure to it.
Absolutely. All right. Well, final question / discussion point, and then we've got some plugs we want to get to. Title of the movie, Wicked for Good, title song. How do you feel Cynthia and Ariana nailed or not For Good?
It's the best part. I mean, it's the best part of Act 2, and I think it was the best part of this film. If this song does not work, then it carries all of the emotional weight of everything that came before it. This is, these are the, this is the comet colliding. This is everything that it's supposed to be, and if it doesn't have that impact, it doesn't work. And it also works very much as the title, because not only does it reference this song, but I mentioned it before. I think Glinda's really takes more center narrative here even than she did in the first one. And if the first film and the part of this film are all about, propaganda being used for evil, we got to see her claim power and using her power of popularity and charm to use popularity for and propaganda for good. And so I like that extra level that it worked on. So great song, great title for it. I'm glad they went the direction they went.
Yeah, I've always loved the song. One of the the things that originally like emotionally caught me about Wicked was that song, and I thought it was delivered wonderfully. A lot of weeping going on in the audience.
Right next to you.
Right next to me. I didn't want to say that, but since you did, yeah. And it probably would have affected me the same way if I hadn't like been kind of living with this song for years and years and years. So, but yeah, I thought it was a really amazing rendition, and to see it there on the screen, just like seeing it in the stage play, I think it's a wonderful song. It's a wonderful point to put the song in the story, and the layers of meaning that it has are wonderful too. Just like any well-written song or movie, right? It's got layers.
Yeah. Like onions and parfaits.
And Shreks.
And Shreks. Yeah.
One other point, just I know Brad, I want to get to you too, but just it's real fresh in mind. This also was the song that played like when my first husband passed, he was the biggest Wicked fan. He read all the books. We'd been we saw it for the first time in like when did it go on tour? It was like 2005, 2006 was the first time we drove down to San Antonio. We went up to another time to go see it in Dallas. We played constantly in our house in kind of like that 2004, 2005 window. And so For Good, basically I got to pick like 3 funeral songs, and, it was very easy to pick For Good for one of those. And, so it'll always have a special place in my heart for that. I've also kind of like, not to be morbid, but I've thought like, well, what would my funeral songs be? And this would be, this is on my list. Yeah.
It's an incredible song. And I love that you and your first husband shared that, Will. That's incredible. Thank you
that's wonderful
for sharing that with us. Yeah.
Not to bring things down though. So
no. Brad,
how did it work for you? Was this For Good?
This worked really well for me. I think, well, first of all, Jim, no worries. I have embraced that I am an emotional mush, as Martha Kent in the new Superman movie says, and I'm okay with it. I was full on ugly crying during this scene. We're talking chest hitching. We're talking like tears are flying 3 feet. But I was thinking about why it impacted me so much more. Right, because it's the same song. They didn't really change anything. It's just 2 different people singing it, and I've seen 6 different, Glendas and Elphabas singing this song. So, I'm like, what is it about this one that made it so different? I definitely ugly cry, like, it's a stage musical every time, but this was a whole nother level. And I think what it is because when we go to the stage musicals, even when we've gotten really good tickets, we're still sitting far back. Glinda and Elphaba are about this big in front of us, and we can see them gesturing and hugging and doing all the things. But here we got the POV footage. We got to see like the light touch of a face, right? We can really see their facial reactions, and I think just the physical actions of what they're doing as they're singing and seeing them so well just added like a whole new dimension to it that I haven't been able to appreciate from the stage play before. And so I really, even though I don't love this movie as much as the first one, I really treasure this movie for giving me that rendition of For Good. So.
Perfect.
All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and end the show here. But plugs.
Wait. Oh, yeah.
But plugs.
Plugs.
Yeah, butt plugs.
We always forget about those.
We always forget about butt plugs. But
they help us stretch out our episode a little bit.
They do, and they kind of fill a hole in our programming a little bit, right? So we... just like to say butt plugs on the show, obviously. But we're going to go ahead and transition into the final few minutes of the show where we talk about things we really love in hopes that you'll really love them too. We like to spotlight things here, call them out that hopefully you'll really enjoy as well. Will, why don't we start with you this week, if you don't mind? What is your butt plug?
This time of year, I will say, is always very hard because there are a lot of great movies in theaters right now. And so when I was getting ready to make a recommendation, I was like, gosh, there's like 3-4 things here that are worth recommending. But I think the one that really makes sense the most for me to plug is a movie that it's still in theaters. It's called Sentimental Value. It's by Joachim Trier, who did a few years ago one of the movies that was in my top 10 of the year, The Worst Person in the World. Sentimental Value stars Stellan Skarsgård as like this father who has, when he was young, he kind of like left his wife and 2 daughters because he was like a prominent film director and really wanted to pursue that. Well, now his daughters are older. One of them has gotten into acting. One of them was a child actress, but now kind of works for her father doing some like research. And he's kind of come back into their lives because he's decided, after taking a break from doing films all these years, he wants to make another one, but this time about a story that's very personal to him, which sort of mirrors his mother's life and suicide when he was young. Elle Fanning stars in this, as well as this kind of like very famous like actress who he meets at like Cannes Film Festival, who's just like, I want a deeper role. I loved watching your films. And so she gets involved and tries to become a part of this Norwegian cast. It is an incredibly powerful family drama. I think one of the strongest performances of the year is the lead role of Nora, played by what is her name? Renata Renev. And then there's a supporting actress role, Inga Ibsdatter Lilia. These 2 are great. They're absolutely great. This is one of my favorite films of the year. I've already started kind of looking ahead at my top 10 just because we're coming up on that really quickly. And this one is, it's currently kind of in that top 3, top 4 spot. Like, if it gets dislodged from my top 10 by the end of the year, then I have an incredible December ahead of me. It's called Sentimental Value. It's everything I'd really want in a family drama with just some of the best performances you'll see all year.
Awesome, Will. Still in theaters though, right?
Still in theaters. In fact, playing. Gosh, I know it's still around. I don't know which Alamo. Yeah, it's playing it. It's playing at Alamo this weekend. I just looked at the Alamo app, so it's still around.
Could be a contender.
Could be a contender. Get me away from these boxes, please.
Oh my God! Yeah. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, babe, how about you? What's your butt plug for this week?
Like I mentioned, we haven't been really focused much on movies lately, and we're aiming to fix that really quickly. But we have started the show on, I think it might be, I don't know if it's on HBO or Netflix, called Pluribus. It's the
Apple
new
TV.
Apple TV. It's a new Vince Gilligan run show starring Rhea Seehorn from Vince's previous show called Better Call Saul, and of course Vince Gilligan also produced one of the best what's considered one of the best TV series of all time, called Breaking Bad, right? So here we have Pluribus. It's definitely has the hallmarks of Vince Gilligan's show. It's well written, well presented, snappily, snappy cinematography. I think it's great. I think the first episode is one of the scariest things I've seen in a long time. It throws you in the middle of something. You don't know what's happening. I'm not going to spoil anything, but there's no monsters or anything, but it has some of the scariest, like, giving me chills moments of TV that I've seen in a long time. That first episode. We're like 4 episodes in right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still, unlike Better Call Saul or Breaking Bad, this one's more of kind of a mystery box kind of a show, right? It's got these central mysteries that everybody is trying to figure out, including the main character, Rhea Seehorn, who's amazing. Yeah, so far I'm digging it. I'm waiting to see kind of where it's taking me. I love that feeling of like not knowing what to expect and what's going to happen. Nothing bores me more than shows and movies that like where you know exactly what's going to happen, and this is totally not that. But it's called Pluribus. Not even sure what the title actually means yet. I mean, I know what it means, obviously, and you can look it up in Latin and stuff, but how it relates to the themes of the show is not 100% clear yet, but I'm digging it so far. It's on Apple TV. It's called Pluribus.
Babe, that's such a big, great butt plug to share. I've really been enjoying this show as well. I think as mystery boxes go, it's moving a little faster than some of the other ones that for me are frustrating. So I appreciate that, but I also appreciate that it's not giving me everything right from the get-go. And Rhea Seehorn, she is just a fucking powerhouse. Like when she gets all spun up and like emotional and shit, I'm like, girl, yes, I'm right there with you. I feel like she's my soul sister or something sometimes, but it's really great. The conceit of this show is such that fun guest characters and cameos can happen, because it's like, I don't want to spoil anything, but like some characters will just show up for like a scene. And then that's it, and then they're done. But in the latest episode we watched, an actor that we discovered on Somebody Somewhere on HBO, Jeff Hiller, he showed up in the episode for a couple scenes. And I had just finished listening to his audiobook. That was what I listened to on my drive from Tucson to Austin. Literally, I started listening when I left, and the book was finishing as I pulled up to the driveway. So it was kind of crazy. But anyway, seeing him suddenly pop up on this show just made me so fucking happy. And I can't wait to see who else.
Yeah. You're like,
appears
oh
on
my
this
God,
show.
is that Jeff? Is that Jeff Hiller?
I really did. I was
like,
so
it
pumped.
is.
He's wonderful, and
He's
and so
amazing,
Somebody
yeah.
Somewhere. It's not my butt plug, but you should definitely check it out. But great plug. Will, have you seen Pluribus at all?
Not yet. I am working through Welcome to Derry first, and because I've been I've got a lot of shows right now. So what I've really focused, said to Scott that we're going to be focusing on is we get through one, then we get to the next. So my solo show is Welcome to Derry, and our partner show, aside from just some of our reality show trash, is Stranger Things. And as soon as we get through that, then we're going to dive into Pluribus. So it's on our radar. It's just we've put it on pause.
Awesome. Very cool. We'll hope you enjoy it. And
that lets us binge too. That's the nice part. Yeah.
Because the episodes build up for sure. Good call out of Stranger Things as well. That's back right now. There's a few episodes out, more are coming. That's not my butt plug though. So my butt plug is, let me just frame this by saying, really cute bears lately keep asking me if I'm into anime, and I've only seen a couple of things. Evangelion, Cowboy Bebop, but I mean that was like early 2000s or whenever the fuck that was. I know nothing about modern day anime. So when I was in Austin about a month ago, when we learned that like we were potentially going to be moving, I came out, hung out with Will and Scott, and kind of looked around the area. Will, you had introduced me to Kaiju number 8 and some other anime, but one that you called out was Solo Leveling. And so I loaded up a few episodes of that to watch on the plane ride home. And I got to say, it's probably my favorite animated thing in the last 10 years. It's fucking incredible, especially as someone who doesn't really watch a lot of anime. I have to say, and Will, you may have knowledge about this, but like a lot of the animes I've seen like stills from and like memes or online or whatever are like the really simple art style animes that are like really overly cutesy and like really like like silly crazy, you know. But Solo Leveling's art style, like every frame is like a painting. It's almost like watching like a Miyazaki movie sometimes, but it's just an action adventure sort of superhero show. But I love the conceit of Solo Leveling, that like you can gain experience in your real life and accrue skill points that you can use to beef up your strength, your intellect, your vitality, your hit points, your agility. And I just think, my God, like if I could fucking go to the gym and work out for an hour and a half and like be able to increase my intelligence or something, or my strength or my speed. And I hear you right now. You're like, dude, if you lift for an hour and a half, you'll increase your strength. Yes, but not by adjusting a number. It's awesome. And I just finished the second season of the show. It's the most current one that's out right now. Last night, I'm about to dive into the new game that came out about a week ago. It's all installed and loaded up, but I'm ADHD hyper focus obsessed on Solo Leveling right now. It's so good. Will, I cannot thank you enough for turning me on to it.
I think there's a couple of things here. You know, like, yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying it. The animation style is great. It uses this is an interesting one because a lot of anime is Japanese, and this is a Korean studio, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Which there's different animation styles that go into it, but then even within them, there's cutesy, kawaii style ones, chibi style, or more realistic style. There's a lot of different artistic styles. But the other thing is you've now unlocked a door that I've unlocked pretty recently too, which is there's this whole genre called isekai, which is basically like, it's predominantly anime, but you also see it in like certain books and certain television shows where people like apply the rules of like RPG stat gains and stuff like that to the way that they develop, you know. And so if you like that particular hallway, there are a lot of doors in that hallway, some good, some bad, some fan servicey trash, some deep and dark, and some everywhere in between. But either way, there's some good on that vine.
Rock on. That's awesome, Will. Well, I'll definitely be looking for some other recommendations from you, and I'm going to be doing some research on my own as well, because I don't know when season 3 of Solo Leveling is coming. I'm sure it's probably not tonight when I want to watch more, but there are definitely some other cool things I need to dive into. It sounds like this is just the tip of the Isekai iceberg, so I'm pumped. All right. Well, we are at the end of our show. Let's let folks know how they can reach out and interact with us between now and our next recording. We're still unpacking and getting set up, so I don't know that we'll be back next week. But Will, where can folks find and interact with you online until we are back?
Yeah, so Facebook, look for William Lindis. That's my general social site. And then on Letterboxd, which is my movie social site, look for @TheMovieBear. I think all three of us are ranking and reviewing films pretty regularly over there. So, and we tend to review one film a week with maybe like an extra 3 plugs, if it's a plug week. We watch a lot more than that. So you can plumb the depths of our new movie brains by following us on Letterboxd. Mine's @TheMovieBear.
All right. Go plumb Will's depths on Letterboxd. All right. Babe, how about for you? How can people find and interact with you?
You can still find me on Facebook, and yes, there is no perfect social media platform, and certainly Facebook is not perfect, but that's where that's the main one that I use. You can find me there under my name, Jim Pugliafico, or you can also go and look at my movie rankings and ratings, and sometimes reviews on Letterboxd @JJP Out West.
All right. Thanks so much. And let me see if I can do this in my Vision Pro. Hey, it worked. Ben Waldock says, bye, Texan Bears. Aw, Ben.
Oh, Ben.
Thank you. I guess we are Texan Bears now, right? We live here.
From Tucson to Texan.
You guys are of three different ties that I had to Tucson. You collectively as one of the two, another couple that moved to Colorado and another person who moved to New York. All the people that I knew in Tucson that I used to go visit have now left Tucson, which is a little sad because I did like visiting Tucson, but
yeah,
I do love having y'all.
To be fair, I mean, I love Tucson and it's a great place. We didn't leave there because we didn't like it, no doubt.
Right.
But it is very, Tucson is known as a transitory place. So, although I was there 26 years, so I'm not sure that doesn't count as transitory.
15 for me. So yeah, same deal. But I guess we're Texas Bubbas, and we're okay with that. Y'all can find me on Facebook. Just look for Bradley Harris, or on Letterboxd at iBradPro. As usual, thanks so much for tuning in and being part of the show, and we just appreciate your support so much. We're gonna figure out this recording together thing. Who knows? Maybe our next episode will be that. But thanks, everybody. Have a great holiday season for those celebrating holidays right now, and we'll be with y'all again soon. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.